Hello, Paul.
Hiya. How's things?
Oh, not too bad. Not too bad at all.
Good.
I've got a book for you. It's a copy of the book I sent away for.
The achnacarry one?
Yeah, you had to be tough.
That's it. So you've copied it, right? Like page for page?
No. I borrowed it from the library.
Yeah.
And then I copied it.
But how did you, what, you mean scanned it in a library or something, or a scanner? Or?
Yeah, in a scanner.
It must have taken ages.
No, not very long, but I'll be sending that one on to you.
I hope it's just...
And also my daughter-in-law.
Yeah.
She managed to get me a brand new one.
Yeah.
From, I think it's from America, on the internet.
Yes.
And I had a word with the author.
Yeah.
And I found that I had a little chat with him, and I gained one or two insights.
Yes.
The book itself is in favour of the army mostly, because he was in the army, you see.
Yes.
So it's army this and army that, you know.
Yeah.
That never mentioned about the Royal Navy, the Royal Marine Commanders and the assault course.
Yeah.
Nothing about that. And
did he know that you guys had been there at all? Did he know that you guys had been there? You know, did he know about the Navy commandos?
I don't know. I'm going to ring him again later on and ask him.
You keep pestering him.
Because we've done a hell of a lot.
Yes.
Altogether, we got about 30,000 working ashore.
Yeah.
You know, vehicles ashore, even drove tanks and rain gun carriers ashore.
Yeah, yeah.
So we've done a hell of a lot of work, and they wouldn't have been able to do the landing if it hadn't been for us.
Yeah, yeah.
We have to be the first ones on the beach, you see, to put the signals up.
Well, I know. I mean, that's great that you've copied the book. I just can't believe that you went to all that effort. You know, it's what can I say? Yeah. Thank you.
Well, the point was that Paul, my son wants me to write down all my past experience.
Yes.
In the Navy and in the commandos.
Yeah.
And I've done the commandos for him.
Yeah.
I didn't have this book. So anyhow, I should put his name in it and date and everything, and that'll go with the rest of the literature that I've got of my experience in the Navy and
sure.
The commandos. So that he wants to see it, you know, so you can show your grandchildren and great-great-grandchildren now, you see. Sure.
I mean, Ray, he's lucky in a way that, I mean, you're still around, you know, he can ask you, which is, obviously I don't have the luxury because my dad has been dead for so long that, you know, your son should think he's a lucky man that he can still ask you these questions, do you know?
Yes, my son and I were very close.
Yeah.
And he wants to have every information about me and that, so that he can pass on to the children, great-grandchildren, etc.
I mean, if he gets it, sort of all this information at any time onto a computer so that he can send it to people via email, he can send me a copy by all means. I'd love to read it.
Yes, I'll send you a copy. I'll send you the copy that I done.
Yeah.
Because I've got the original now, you see.
Yeah.
I've got the original, and I'll send you the copy.
Yeah.
Now, was there any other?
Well, what I wanted, I've been speaking to...
By the way,
yes.
Are we plugged in?
Oh, believe it or not, Ray, you are. Yes, you're being recorded. And I'll tell you what, it saves me. Because normally what I used to do was while you were talking, or, you know, Archie Thomas was talking, or whoever, I'd be frantically scribbling notes away. And then trying to...
Have you got it shorthand?
Absolutely crap. Absolutely useless. So it would be the devil's own job to sort out what I've written down. Yeah. But now I've got it on the tape, you see. So the funny thing is that, you know, Peter Lightfoot.
Yes.
I was talking to Peter a couple of times. He's in Bournemouth.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, he remembers a few things.
I'm always phoning him, Peter.
Well, I didn't realise he was still around, you know.
Good Lord, yes.
Well, I didn't know.
Yes, he's Lightfoot. He's still around, yes.
Because I'm looking at the picture in the Hampshire book of a very young guy, aged about 20, sitting on the back of that car, right? And that's Peter Lightfoot, and I'm talking to him on the other end of the phone, and he tells me I think he's 83.
That's right, yeah. No, he's M1.
No, 83, his age, Ray. His age.
In my unit.
Yeah, I know, Ray, I mean his age. His age is 83. It's just funny because I'm looking at a photograph of a very young fellow.
Yes.
You know, and I'm talking to him, but, you know, and he's 83. But he remembered a few things. And look, there was a petty officer in your lot called Pocock. Jerry Pocock.
Ah, that's the one I'm after. You've spoken to him?
I've spoken to him. I've got his phone number. I'll give it to you.
Oh, yeah.
Do you want his phone number, right?
I don't know whether he's alive or not.
He's alive. I spoke to him 2 days ago. He lives in Caversham, near Reading.
Yeah, did he? Have you got his telephone number?
I've got his address. I've got his phone number. He's a very nice bloke.
Can you give me his telephone number?
I can, yeah. Jerry Pocock.
Reading, is it?
Yeah. Well, Caversham. Yeah?
Is that Reading?
It's near Reading, apparently. Yeah?
I've heard of it, yes.
So,
there was I believe that's the man on the photograph. I was going to send the photograph or the photostat copy to Pete Lightfoot to see if he recommended it. He recognised him.
Which on the big photograph, you mean, of all of N Commando, or the little one? The big one?
Yeah, with the petty officers.
Oh, yeah.
You know one curtain sitting in the front and you're on the left.
Yeah.
And then there's, there was Freddie Underwood.
Yeah.
Then there was Freddie Underwood, there was Hadlock.
Yeah.
Granger. And there's one down and the one on the right of the tight turn. I didn't know I couldn't recall his name.
Yeah.
But that must be him. That must be Pocock.
The one sitting, my dad is one side of Tom Turton, and he's the other side.
Pocock, yeah.
That's Pocock. I sent him, Jerry Pocock, I sent him that photograph.
And did he?
Well, I haven't spoken to him since I sent him the picture, so I don't know. But if
you sent him the picture,
I've sent it him, Ray, but I haven't spoken to him since he got it. Do you know what I mean?
Yes.
I sent it a couple of days ago, and I spoke to him a couple of days ago. But next time I ring him, do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm sure he'll recognise himself if that's himself.
Well, yes, he would do. Yes, but of course I've got another photograph.
Yeah.
Another photostat copy when I come across them.
Yeah.
Of the group of N1 altogether, and Pocock's in it as well, you see.
Oh, that would be. I don't know if there's any way you can copy that or something.
Yes, I just drop it down in the library and get it copied there.
God, that would be lovely, right? You haven't got that picture in front of you or near, have you? You know the picture with the with Tom Turton and the petty officers in it. You haven't got it to hand.
No, there's something I've got to return to you, isn't there?
No. I just wondered.
No, I think did you mention it as some?
No, Ray. There's nothing you have to return to me at all.
Oh, okay.
Nothing.
Well, that one, yes, that's the. That's the one you sent it to me in large.
Yeah, that's right. Because somebody said to me that there's a guy sitting behind my dad. Now somebody, I think somebody said that was Letby.
That's right, Letby.
The one behind my dad.
Yes, we put Tom Turton in the front.
Yeah.
That's the commanding officer.
Yep, and then we got my dad
to the left
and Pocock. Yep.
And behind your dad was Petty Officer Letby, N1.
Yeah.
And to the right, looking at the photograph, of Petty Officer Letby, is Freddie Underwood. I think he was N2 or N3.
Well, hang on, there's a guy between, so far as I understand it, there's a guy between Freddie Underwood and Letby. And do you know what I mean? That Freddie Underwood is 2 away from Letby. I'm told. Because
I'll have to have a look at that, Paul. Let's talk about that.
Yeah, okay.
I thought it just so clear. I'm going to look at that. That's probably the chap down at the bottom of this Pocock.
Yes, I mean, he'll be...
Opposite to your father.
Sure, because Ray, he hasn't got any photographs at all.
He hasn't?
No, he was very surprised. He was very happy to hear from... Because he remembered my dad as well, because they were both... I suppose because they were both petty officers, right? You know, they would have had a bit in common. But he remembered him, and he remembered him at Armadillo. You know, you said, you told me once you couldn't remember my dad at Armadillo, but you could at achnacarry. He says he remembers him at Armadillo. So that's kind of...
It's a long time. It's a long time, Paul.
Well, I know. I know.
But there was... at Armadillo, it wasn't a very long stay there.
No.
It was a matter of sorting out the boys from the men, you see.
Yeah. How long would you say you were there for, right? Armadillo.
That's too bloody long. No, probably about, let me see now. I could look for records, service records, and it would tell me then. But I'll have to do that for you.
Yeah, okay.
I'll have to give you the time that we were there. It wasn't very long. No, I'd say it wasn't very, very long. We'd done a lot of training and.
But then they worked you up to achnacarry. Yeah. So you were longer at achnacarry than you were at Armadillo.
Oh, good Lord, yes.
Yeah, and
much longer because it was much tougher, you see.
And but at achnacarry, was that like a couple of months or something like that?
Or I should say about
3 months.
No, not so much as that. Let me see now. I should say around about probably 6 or 7 weeks, I think.
At achnacarry, so...
At achnacarry, it could be more. I'll find out anyhow.
Yeah.
And so much had to be packed in, you see.
Yeah.
And then again, it was never recorded, although we were in the commandos.
Yeah.
It was never recorded in anywhere. Where we went to an engineer's place at near Dundonald.
Yeah.
What's the name of it now? Because I'm tip of my tongue.
Is this sort of Inverary or somewhere? Or?
No, it was not far away from Dundonald camp, and in there was the engineer camp.
Yeah.
All right, Moncton, that's it, M-O-N-T-O-N, Moncton camp.
Yeah.
And there was the engineers.
Yeah.
And they taught us how to lay the meshing.
Yeah.
You laid it out and then you pegged the sides down.
Yeah.
And that's if you get a pebble beach, which they learnt the lesson from.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, hang on, Ray. It's my mobile's just gone. I'll switch it off. Okay.
I say, coming back to Mount Cram, we had to learn that just in case they didn't turn up. You see.
Yeah. So what about mine detecting and that sort of thing?
Well, we done all that training.
Yeah.
All that training.
Yeah.
And we left it to the engineers, but then again, the only method we had of detecting the mines was with a fighting knife.
Yeah.
And I've got a photograph here. I believe you sent them, I'm quite sure.
Yeah.
Of them. Of what they were probing for the knives.
Yeah, is that you lot?
In the gap. We made a gap there.
Yeah. Right, can you... oh, God. Bloody phone. Sorry about that. You know, I did send you a photograph of... I wasn't sure who it was, whether it was you lot. It's in Anzio. Yeah? Sort of crouched down on the beach, stabbing the sand with long... They look like long knives to me.
That's right, yes.
Is that you lot?
Yes.
Oh.
Yes,
did you recognise anybody in there?
I think there was me, Petty Officer Ledby.
Yeah.
Seaton, Lamb and Gregory, I think, there was the 4 of us probing with a knife. Well, what happened then was we cut the wire, and I've still got the wire cutters with me. They're quite angry, they're small, but they're very, very strong.
Yeah.
And we cut the wires, and then we started to probe the minefield. Well, we got halfway through the minefield, and when an army officer came along, they just arrived, you see. Road getting all this done. They said, "What's the hold up?" And we said, "Your engineers are not here. You might, your mine disposal was in there." Oh, I can't wait for them. So we said, "What are you going to do?" So he said, "Well, we'll take a chance. We'll run across." I said, "In that case, then let us get bloody do that then." Oh, he did. He took 5 or 6 great big strides across. He got to the other side. And the poor old corporal followed him, stepped on the mine and blowed the pieces.
Oh, you're kidding.
No.
Oh my God.
His arm, with a tattoo on it, was in the part of the minefield there for quite a few days.
Oh my God.
Yeah, well, you hope you recorded it.
Yeah, well, Yeah.
When I get old, I start to remember it all.
I was reading about some Russian general, and his way of clearing a minefield was to set up a battalion or something and ask them to run across the minefield. That's how he cleared minefields.
Oh, yeah.
Do you know what I mean? This is the Russian technique.
That was the Russian technique.
Yeah, that's how they did it.
Because the new method now is that you shoot a line across the minefield. You don't tell that bloke to get off that phone.
Yeah, it's my bloody sister. I'm going to throw the bloody phone down the toilet or something.
Anyhow, the new method was that you shot this long line. It went about 100 yards or so. Yeah. And right along it was little explosives. Yeah. And you pressed the plunge at this end, and all these explosives went off, and any mine that was underneath went up. Yeah. Yeah. So that was the British method of doing it. And they had tanks with flails on them, didn't they? It was another way. You'd have a tank with a bunch of chains on the front. Oh, yes, the flare. Yeah, yeah. It's a flaying tank, yeah. Yeah. Not a flaying tank. Yeah. I've got to go out with the wife at the moment. Oh, okay. So we've got to do a bit of shopping. Right, can I ring you? I've got a list. I've got 48,000 questions I want to ask you. Yeah, okay. Can I? Can you ring me tonight? I can certainly. 7 o'clock. Would that be okay? Yeah, that'll be fine. Okay, excellent. Glad to hear. Where are you going, Ray? Just into town? Or? No, the wife bought some pansies the other day for the garden. Oh yeah. And they went from Morrison's and they got them so very cheap and so such a good thing. Yeah. She wanted to go back and get some more, so we couldn't do it yesterday because I was up at my son's. Yes. And we were getting ready for the reunion. Yeah. In April. Yes. And he, of course, we came back and we didn't have the time to do it. So today we got the time off to be able to go up and pop up and get us some more. Yeah. Yeah. Is it raining there, Ray? Eh? Is it raining there? No, it's a bit breezy, but it's not raining, no. Oh, okay. Yeah, it's just stopped here. It was pouring down. Anyway, you have a good time, my friend. I'll talk to you about 7, right? Yeah. Okay. Yeah, okay, around about 7. Yeah, I'll be expecting you. I'll set the tape recorder. Yeah, switch off. All right. We'll go. Roger and out. See you, bye. Hello. Hello, Raymond. He caught it just in time. He just finished tea. I'm delaying mine. You what? I'm delaying mine. I thought my wife would have done it by now, but she hasn't, so I'm not even eating in order to speak to you. Oh, I see. Now, if you could just hang on a minute, I want to go outside and get one of the photographs. Okay. I'm sorry, I couldn't find the one I wanted, but I've got such a big pile of paper on there, but I will get this one out. But I did come across this one. It's taken from the newsreel, I think. Yeah. It's got a lot of white lines across it. Yeah. Can you remember? If you describe it a bit, was it on the one of the newsreels that your son was looking at? Yeah. You got it on here, singing. Yeah. From the newsreel. Oh yeah. I know the one. You know the one? With the guy with the beard. Yeah. Well, that is Granger. Is it with the fellow with the beard? Yeah, that is Granger. Okay, yeah. Excellent. If you look on his if you look on the shoulder badge, it says RM Commander. That's right, and that was a Petty Officer Granger. Yes. What was he? Now Granger was. What was he? N1, N2, N3? Oh, N2 or N3. I'm not quite sure. We didn't know all the. All the names of each individual party. Only certain people, like Yeah. That come to mind. So did he always have the beard, right? Did I? Did he always have that beard? Who? Granger? Granger, yeah. Yes. Okay. There is there is a photograph of him, a full photograph, 12 by 12. Yeah. Hanging up on the notice board in the achnacarry. Oh yeah. No, not achnacarry, Inverary. Yeah. They've got a museum there. Yeah. And in the museum, there's a photograph of him there. Just him? With a beard, yeah. So is he, the big, I'm trying to find Granger. Here we go. But you see, I've got Granger on the big photo of N Commando, and there's an arrow pointing to a guy with no beard. The only fellow with a beard I can see is, is what's his name? Dow.
Vic Dowell,
Vic Dowell, yes.
He had a beard.
Yes, Vic Dowell, yes. The point here is that you had them on, or you wore them, or you took them off, depending on the weather, I suppose.
Yeah.
But
he's holding a dog here in the, you know, the big end commando picture. He's holding a dog.
Yes. Well, they generally adopted a dog of some sort, some animal.
Yes.
And you know, they took it along with them.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay, excellent, good. Have you, you know that DVD that I made for you that you watch on the TV?
Yes.
I've made up another sort of index to that tells you a bit more what's going on, you know. So, have you looked at that, Ray?
You know what?
Have you looked at that, the DVD?
No, not at the present moment. We've been so very busy here and there. Now,
okay.
I want to get it when the wife's not got nothing to do.
Yeah.
She's got a lot of work to do, ironing and one thing, preparation of meals and.
Yeah.
And but I will do, and I'll have a look at it.
Okay, because I was going to send you Mr. Pocock's, Jerry Pocock's address, and I'll put in a few. There's a few more photographs from these landings that you might be interested in, and another sort of index to that DVD. So it explains what's going on. You know what I mean? By the time, so
I've been speaking to Pocock.
Oh, you had a word with him?
I can't quite place him on the photographs.
Yeah.
You're going to send me a photograph.
Excellent.
So if I can compare where he is on this, you know, this.
Because it occurs to me, Ray, that he was ill after he got some strange disease after the landings in Italy, Reggio, and that was it. He was off to North Africa, and he was effectively out of N Commando by that time. So he can't be in the pictures from Porto San Giorgio. Do you see what I mean? Because he wasn't there. He was out by that time. It occurred to me after you said he was in the petty officer's picture. But
yeah, well, this one is the picture that I'm looking at now is.
Yeah.
It's on the way to Italy.
Yeah, yeah.
And if he was taken ill, they must have taken out after you landed at Porto Reggio.
Oh, yeah, because he told me, Pocock told me that there was a guy killed called Love. I think there was a fellow killed from N Commando, I think, by a Messerschmitt called, I think he said his name was Love, or Dove.
Dot?
No, Love, like L-O-V-E, like love, you know, L-O-V-E, love. Or,
I can't say I heard that.
No?
Dodds.
Yeah.
D-O-D-D-E-S was my number 2 on machine gun. He's the one that lumped the ammunition around.
Yeah.
No, the only one I remember was Taffy.
Yeah, was that Hughes?
You know Taffy in Wales?
Is that,
Taffy, Thomas?
Oh, yeah. Have you spoken to him recently?
Well, he got shot in the backside, didn't he?
That's right, yes. Yeah, and then he ended up in D Commando because he
sit down for a week.
Yeah. Have you spoken to him recently, right?
Hey, not recently, no, about 4 months ago we had a word with him.
So when did you last see or speak to Pocock?
Pocock?
Yeah.
This afternoon.
Oh, no, but before that, right? Before this afternoon.
Well, I thought it was. I'm not quite sure.
Yeah.
I asked him if he remembered the reunion at Birmingham. He said yes.
Yes.
He did remember it. I said, well, I was introduced to you, I think, as Pocock.
Yes.
Yes, well, he said, I remember you. So I got to try and place him. I think he was a small petty officer. He wasn't very tall.
No.
But he was a small one.
Yeah, okay.
Petty officer Pocock.
Yeah. Because I'll tell you one thing that Peter Lightfoot said to me is that they came home. He says he came home from Ravenna, I think it was, and then they drove all the way across the mountains to Rome. Yeah, and then to Rome.
To Rome?
To Rome, and then further south to Naples, and they sailed in a Polish ship from Naples.
Yeah, Pulaski.
Yeah, is that the way you came back, right?
Yeah.
Across the mountain?
We all came back on that way.
But, so...
Yeah, we all drove from Porto Cassini, where we were.
Yeah.
And we came back from there.
Yeah.
Drove right across. Yeah. Down through Rome and then down to Naples.
Because he says
funny enough, strange that it should be, was that we billeted just for 2 days before we picked up the ship in a big hotel there, massively big hotel there at Naples, on the dock outside. And the officer in charge was our old skipper.
From the destroyer?
Yes, Vice Admiral Seaton.
Yes.
He was a skipper of the Mohawk when we went down.
Yes.
And he was in charge there, and I didn't know it, otherwise I'd have made myself my presence, you know.
Yes. So did he recognise you? Did you recognise?
No, I didn't get a chance to see him.
Oh,
in fact, I didn't know he was there.
Yeah. Okay. Because that was a bit of a hairy drive, according to Peter Lightfoot.
There was one part which the engineers had put one of the Bailey bridges across.
Yeah.
And it was so springy when you went across.
Yeah.
What they did, they got the men out of the vehicles and walk across, not march, just walk across, spaced at intervals to the other side. Yeah. Then it was remaining of the 2 vehicles. Yeah. And what they had to do, go one at a time, very, very slowly.
Christ.
And as they went, so the bridge went up and down, up and down. And it's about a 300-foot drop, I think.
Okay, so so you didn't want to fall off that thing. Ray, can I ask you about, Ravenna, yeah? You know Porto Cassini is Ravenna, yeah? Right. Now, that fell to the Allies in the 5th of December 1944, yeah? The early December 1944. But you must have been, because Peter Lightfoot tells me that there was another little incident with Popski, where a few guys from Popski's army turned up, yeah? Yeah. And a few fellas from N Commando joined them, and they drove to Milan. And when they got to Milan, they saw Mussolini hanging up from that garage, upside down.
Quite truthfully, Paul, I didn't know anything about that at all.
Really?
Who told you that?
Peter Lightfoot.
Did he?
He's quite sure about it. And my dad told, I know there's a story from my dad that he saw Mussolini hanging up from the garage in Milan, yeah? Yeah. And I've got, there's some people who were sort of doing the history of Popski, and they've heard the same story from a couple of guys who were in Popski's army.
Yes.
And this was just before you came back, because Mussolini was killed about the end of April 1944, and Peter Lightfoot said, you came back very shortly. The war ended, and the Germans gave up very shortly afterwards in Italy. Yeah. Yes. And then you came back. I wondered if you'd heard that, but obviously not.
The only incident I know is at Popski's army. I've got a book here.
Yeah. I've
got the book that you've written.
Written by Popski.
Written by Popski. Yeah.
Yeah.
All about his activities, and they had to. The British Army wasn't too keen on supplying them with ammunition, guns, and so they had to pinch them,
Yeah.
So this is what they did. They had to live on their wits.
Yes.
And they had to pinch them.
You stole some of theirs, didn't you, at some point?
I beg pardon?
Your guys borrowed some of their revolvers, wasn't it? You told me.
They didn't borrow them. They pinched them.
Well, I know. That's what I was just being polite. You told me it was a crate of revolvers.
It's called Popski's Proud Army.
Yeah. But was that incident with the revolvers? That would have been in Ravenna. Presumably.
No, Porto St. Giorgio.
Was it? Okay.
It was in Porto St. Giorgio.
Okay.
I remember so well because after they had moved off, they moved on out.
Yeah.
Porto St. Giorgio.
Yeah.
They moved on out, and then these revolvers started to appear.
Yeah. So, okay, because I was following Popski, where they were in Italy, and following you guys in Italy, and the place where you were in the same place at the same time for a long time seems to be Ravenna. Yeah. Did you know?
The only place there was a short period of time when they were in Porto St. Giorgio.
Yeah.
Where they went after that, I don't know.
Yeah. Okay.
I can look back in the book, probably, and see where. In his book he wrote to see where he went to.
Yeah, don't worry about it. Camaccio. Does Camaccio mean anything to you?
Eh?
Do you know Lake Camaccio
Oh, that's up north.
Yeah, did you? You never got anywhere near. Well, Ravenna is quite near there, but you never heard anything about Lake Camacho.
No.
Because Lady Kipling says, oh yes, Sid was up there, Lake Camacho, and doing something with landing craft. But, yeah, that's.
I didn't hear that. I didn't know that. He never mentioned anything like that to me.
No, I mean it's another word that my mum remembers. I think my dad talking about. Ray, do you remember you told me about Mark Clark's car?
Yeah.
And the car ending up in the canal.
Yeah.
That was in. That would have been Anzio sort of area. Yeah.
Anzio, no, that was on the Adriatic side.
Was it?
It was on the Adriatic side because the chaps wanted to go to Rome.
Yeah.
And they caught the army lorry which took them.
Yeah.
And missed it on the way back, so they pinched the car and drove back. And it was at the army fuel depot that the game came up.
So you're on the Adriatic side, and they used a lorry to get to Rome, yeah? Is that and the car to drive back? Is that right?
Yeah, they drove back in the car.
And what kind of car was that? Was that no? But is that right? I don't know what a staff car is. That like a Jeep or?
It's one of those with 5 flags on the front, you know.
Like a Chevrolet or a
greyish in colour.
Yeah. Is that like a big fancy car?
Oh yes.
Yeah, not a sort of Jeep with a couple of flags. It was they must have been a bit conspicuous driving. Do you know what I mean?
Well, it wasn't until when they started to run out of fuel. They got towards the army petrol depot.
Yes.
And the point was this, that they stopped and had to refuel, and nobody stopped them because they saw the flags on the front.
Yeah. But that would be American flags on the front, would it?
No.
No?
British flags.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah. British flags. You there?
Yeah, I'm here.
There's British flags.
Yeah.
Can you just hold on a minute? I'll go and get a chair to sit down on.
Yeah, sure. Sure.
Hold on a minute.
Hold on.
I can't stand very long because I get a very, what do you call it, a weak back.
Yeah, I didn't realise you were standing up, right?
No, I was leaning on the kitchen table. You've got the telephone nearby, you see.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
I've got a stool in the front of the house.
Yeah.
By the front door. So
yeah.
I just brought that one in.
I'm sorry. I imagined you sitting in an armchair.
Oh no! No.
You're standing up.
If I'd been sitting down in the armchair.
Yeah.
You wouldn't be speaking to me because I'd be fast asleep.
All right. Well, in that case, Ray, don't sit down. Well, I'll just get a bloody great recording of you snoring. You know.
Yeah, well, the wife would record that for you.
Yes. Right. You up the East Coast. How did you get from? You know, you're in Anzio, yeah?
Yes.
You're also in Anzio. Now that took a long time, all that business, because you landed in Anzio in January '44, yeah?
Yes.
And now Casino didn't fall until May. So it's February, March, April, 4 months before, you know what I mean, that sort of stalemate was broken.
Yes.
How long were you actually in Anzio? Were you there the whole time?
Yeah, the whole time, from the beginning to the end.
So sort of 4 months.
First in and last out. That was our motto.
Yeah.
Ex alto.
Yeah.
Which is Latin for first in and last out.
So you were knocking around the beaches and the harbour of Anzio for 4 months?
Yes, we were here, there, everywhere.
Yeah.
And that's where Russell lost his leg.
Russell, yeah?
Russell lost his leg there.
Are there any photographs of him, Ray?
Hey?
Are there any photographs of him?
You haven't?
I haven't got any photographs of him, no. Are there any? I've never seen a picture of him.
Yes.
Oh, that was
I'll have a look up. Tomorrow, and amongst the other information I got.
Yeah.
And I got a photograph of him, yes. He was a Spitfire pilot.
That's right, yeah, I read. And then I've got, that's another thing, I've got, there's a big piece about him that I'll send to you, I'll post it tomorrow, along with Pocock's address, and a couple of other photographs. He's a sort of obituary, you know, it's like the story of his life in Russell. You know?
Oh, yes, he served on destroyers.
Yeah.
The same as me, he was at sea, the same as me.
Yeah.
Because, mind you, Paul, a lot of the men that were in there hadn't been to sea before. See, there's only a few of us. You see, when the unit was formed, they asked for volunteers, and they selected volunteers who had been regulars.
Yeah.
That had been to sea before and that, you say?
Yeah.
Had sea experience.
Yeah.
And the result is that we were the nucleus of forming each individual party.
Yeah.
And the result is that a lot of the names there, like Pete Lightfoot, never been to sea.
Well, he was very young, wasn't he? He was about 20, something like that.
That's not, I was 16 when I went to sea. At 16, I was loading ammunition in number 4 turret. Yeah. At 16, now you look at a 16-year-old today, do you think they could do it?
Well, I doubt it. I mean, I've got, my dad's records are here, and he was when he first went on the Kent in 1938, he would have been 17, and he was boy 1.
Yes, well, in that case, on board the Kent in 1938, I was just beginning the naval career when the war was, the war was imminent.
Yeah. Did you know the war was imminent when you joined the Navy, right?
No, not then. No.
It
wasn't until with halfway through our training course that we started to develop.
Yeah. Was that kind of exciting news or terrifying news to you?
Oh no, it was quite exciting. As you were saying.
Yeah.
Exciting news really, because there's nobody that could beat the Royal Navy.
No. Well, it's like the American Navy now kind of rules the world. It was the Royal Navy then. Was everywhere, wasn't it? It was.
Oh yes, I mean they got the facilities of mail, but you don't. You're going into politics now.
Yeah.
You see, when the war was over, we had to borrow from America.
Yeah.
And the result is that's when they got the upper hand of us.
Yeah.
Because they didn't want us to be a power again.
No.
They made us pay the debt back that we, all the armaments and all that.
Yeah.
We had to pay that back.
Yeah.
So that's part of politics that went on then.
Yeah, and we lost the empire, India, but didn't we? I mean, India disappeared. All the I can't think where else. But
they gave it up. They gave the empire up because of the expense that keeping it.
Well, I mean, it bankrupted the country, really, didn't it? The Second World War.
You see, what happened is Paul, was in the First World War, 50% of the Americans weren't interested in the war, the First World War. The other 50 wanted to go to war, you see. And in the last war, it was 2 years, I think within a year or 2 years before they came in then, in 1914.
Yeah.
And then in the last war, the same thing happened again.
Yes.
They stole for about a couple of years, got much money as they possibly could from us, in selling us arms and ammunition, and then good luck struck.
The Japanese, Pearl Harbor.
And they had to come in whether they liked it or whether they didn't.
Well, I mean, Churchill was jumping up and down for joy when they bombed Pearl Harbor. He was a happy man.
He was doing the waltz around the wall.
Yeah. He said that was the moment when he realised, he knew that that he would win. Eventually, that it might take some time.
Oh yeah.
But he'd get there in the end. Pete Lightfoot tells me another story, which is about an exploding oil stove. An exploding oil stove. He said he used to do the cooking. This is in Ravenna. Yeah. Cast your mind to Ravenna. Yeah. You're in Ravenna. Now, he says you were in a reasonably big house, 5 or 6 bedrooms or something like that, that's sort of requisitioned N1 in this house. And he's doing the cooking, and he's got a big oil stove, like a big oil drum or something like that, that's used as a stove. And a little Italian guy used to come round and help him sort of doing the washing up. And he would give him some sort of tins of corned beef.
Oh, yes, that's past my memory.
No? Anyway.
I can't recall that, but they were, as you say, each individual has certain things happen around him which they remember vividly.
Well, you see, the thing was, Ray, that he blew him up. He filled it one day with petrol instead of oil, or, you know, whatever it was supposed to burn.
Yes, I remember something like that, but I'm not quite sure.
And he says it blew up, you know, with a little Italian guy there, and he never, you know, he said he never came back.
What we used to do there, we didn't carry any filled kitchen with us.
No.
Wherever we went, we either had to make a fire, a couple of bricks and a bit of metal, and then that was your stove to do your cooking.
Yes.
But what we used to do was, you know these jerry cans?
Yeah.
We used to fill them half full, put the lid on, and then what we used to do, put them on a 4 stones, 4 bricks, and put a small can of sand underneath, petrol in.
Oh, yeah.
And then we used to bang a hole in the top half of the jerry can.
Yeah.
And put a match to it.
Yeah.
It was just like a blow lamp.
Oh, okay.
Well, there was many ideas which were made then.
Yes.
During the war.
Yeah.
Many ideas.
Yes.
I can quote you, but it'd take me too long to do it.
Yes. I'll tell you what else. Lightfoot, so you know the business you told me about the chit and the stores for the non-existent landing craft.
Yes.
Do you remember that? You told me the story. Now Peter Lightfoot says they were doing that sort of thing all the time. You know, like getting stores for, you know, that they would pretend they had a few guys from a battleship, you know, that didn't exist, and they'd get supplies for them, and they'd say they had a few officers with them from this battleship, and they'd get a few bottles of whiskey for them. Do you know what I mean? He gave me the impression that this was...
that I didn't know. I only made one journey.
Yeah.
Just with this army chap.
Yes.
And this petty officer.
Yeah.
And he only made one journey, but Pete Lightfoot said he carried on all the time. It must have been going on without me knowing it.
There was that guy Sibley. You know, Sibley.
Sibley?
Yeah.
Oh, he was up all sorts of tricks.
That was it. It was him who stole the car, the racing car. In Port Tewfik.
Yeah, that's right, Port Tewfik.
He said they got drunk. He said they went out for a night in Port Tewfik and they were drunk, and they saw this car and just drove it back. But you know, this is a...
Well, I've got the photograph of it.
It's in the book, isn't it? In Hampshire's book. But surely, Ray, if these guys come back at, you know, 2 o'clock in the morning or something in a sort of racing car, surely somebody, you know, your commanding officers or somebody must have noticed.
Not necessarily.
No?
No, because there were so many vehicles abandoned. Old vehicles, German vehicles, British vehicles. Yeah. And either the men got them going.
Yeah.
And got them going, and they laid claim to them.
So it wouldn't be like, you know, the CO would be saying, where the bloody hell did you get that, mate? You know, they wouldn't pay much attention.
No, they didn't bother at all.
Yeah.
In fact, one of the young officers.
Yeah.
He was riding around in one of the German ducks, like, you know.
Yeah.
Miniature version.
Yeah.
Just hold on one minute, just hold me, dear.
Yeah.
That's all.
Hello, Ray.
Yeah.
Listen, Ray, if you get tired or you want to have a rest, you know, and you want to, do you know what I mean? You let me know. Otherwise, I'll just keep talking to you. Yeah. That's all right. Okay.
Well, you've got one thing, haven't you? You're recording it.
I'm recording it, which is, you know what I mean. So I'm not going to lose this. Is that your door?
That's my doorbell.
Oh.
All right.
Okay.
I'll have to call you back for all.
Okay.
It's probably friend after some wood. Hold on.
All right.
I'll call you back.
Okay.
Hello, Paul.
Hello, Romeo Taylor. How are you?
Oh, not too bad.
Not too bad. there's no particular reason to pull you to the phone, maybe. I mean, the only specific thing was those 2 photographs that I sent.
There's a slight alteration to one of the photographs.
Yes.
You know the photograph of Tom Turton?
With the petty officers?
Yes.
Yeah.
And your father's on his right.
He's on his right or on the left of the picture.
Looking at the picture, it's on his left, wasn't it?
Yeah.
And then there's Freddie Underwood with the white teeth.
Yeah, yeah, I've got him.
Yeah, you got it. But, well, the point was this: I said that the chap on the right was Granger.
Yeah.
It was not. It was Havelock.
So which one? You haven't got the picture in front of you, Ray? Presumably, have you?
I have got what?
The picture that I sent in front of you, because I put some numbers on all these people on the photograph that I sent you. I don't suppose you've got it there.
Not at present moment, no.
Okay, so Havelock is he in the front row or the back row?
I beg pardon?
Is he in the front row there or the back row?
He's in the back. No, you're not with me, Paul.
No, I'm not.
You know the photograph you sent?
Yes.
Of Tom Turton sitting in the front.
Oh, the big photograph of everybody.
The photograph.
I'm with you. The guy you said was Granger.
Your dad is on the left looking at the photograph.
Yeah.
And behind him is Freddie Underwood. White teeth, one with the white teeth.
Well, there's standing next to him, I think, on my dad's right would be Freddie Underwood, and there's a guy in front. Ray, this is so confusing because I don't have the photograph in front of me, neither do you.
I'll send them back to you.
But what you mean is that the guy you identified as Granger, is Havelock.
Havelock is on the extreme right.
Okay.
I said it was Granger.
Yeah, okay, that's all right.
But it wasn't, it was Havelock.
Okay.
And I don't know whether he's still alive, but he lives up Hanwell. And I don't know whether you've still got his address or not.
I know I haven't got his address or anything to do.
I'll ask the wife to see if she's washed it out of the diary or not. If she has, then we can send it on to you and you could try your luck whether he's alive or whether he's dead.
So when did you last hear from him, right?
Eh?
When did you last hear from him?
Oh, a long time ago. It was when Petty Officer Ledby was alive.
Yeah.
Before I left Hanwell, we were talking about 19, 20 years ago.
Oh my God! You see, I rang Archie Thomas, not knowing. I think you guys gave me his number, and I rang not knowing really if he was alive or dead. But he's alive and well. Archie Thomas, yeah, he was. I spoke to his wife, and she said, "Oh no, Archie! He's gone down the shops." We're in touch all the time, Archie. Yeah. And I. Yeah. No. Getting back to did you get the book? I tried to find. It's a very hard book to find. The achnacarry book is a very hard book to find. What? The one about it had to be tough, that one. Well, it's quite easy, really. It's not for me. Yes, my daughter-in-law got on the internet. Yeah. And she ordered one. She found one. Yeah. And ordered it. Yeah. And it's on its way to her. I should pick it up on Wednesday. Yeah, where did she... in the meantime... Yeah. I went, before she went onto the internet... Yeah. I went down to the library and was able to borrow it from the library. Oh, yeah. Then I went to, of course, the copy machine. Yeah. I copied the whole lot out. You copied the whole book? The whole book. Jesus. Now, what I'll do is this, that when I get that book from my daughter-in-law, I'll send you the copy. You can have the copy. Ray, that would be marvellous, but it's a lot to ask. At the same time, I spoke to the author. Yes. And he said he's thinking of getting some more printed from the publishers because he's had such a demand for them. Well, the publisher went bust, so far as I understand it. The publisher went bust is what I understand happened with the book. I don't know much about that. You won't have to worry more because I'll send you my copy on the one that I copied on the last thing. Well, I mean, if you're sure, and obviously I'll pay you postage. There must be a lot of pages in that book. Eh? There must be a lot of pages in that book. No, it's no bother at all. Yeah, you sure? And, what else was I going to tell you?
I'm getting over my first week. The first week after the intervenia.
Yes.
I'm very, very tired.
That's what Anne was saying, that maybe
by coming Monday.
Yeah.
I should be feeling much better, but it makes me very, very tired. You know?
Sure.
I'm sleeping all the time. Yeah.
Well, I'm going to let you go to sleep as soon as this call is over. But what I wanted to say, Ray, is that I've got one of those tape recorder things, yeah?
Yes.
So that I can record, anything that you feel like remembering. So Anne gave me the dates when it's like the week before you have another injection, yeah. The week before you're next in hospital.
Yes.
So maybe if I give you a ring during that week, like the good week, yeah.
Yeah.
If you feel like it, maybe we could rehash some of the stories that you've told me already, and maybe anything else that comes to mind.
That's a good idea.
That would be very nice, because then I can play it back for my sister, and it's a record for me as well.
That's a good idea, yeah.
Does that suit you?
Yes, I do fine.
Excellent.
But it's after the intervening. Intravenous, I think they call it.
Yeah.
It goes into the bloodstream.
Yeah.
It takes you about 2-3 hours for it to go in.
Yeah.
And after that, you get all the tiredness and moodiness. I've been sleeping all day.
Yeah, it makes me a little bit wary about calling, because I'm never quite sure.
No, that's all right. That's quite all right.
No, but you can understand. I feel a bit sort of guilty about it sometimes, that I think, well, I'm dragging you away from a nice armchair.
No, that's all right. I can manage it.
Well, you don't worry about it. You let me know if you can't manage it, or just tell Anne to tell me to piss off, or whatever it might be. I won't take offence. Yeah, don't worry about being polite or anything.
Was there something else you wanted?
No, there wasn't really. Well, that's great for you. So what I'll do is I'll give you a ring during that week that Anna's told me about. Like the best week, and we'll see if you feel like it.
This is the week now that I'm having now.
Yes.
It's the week after the intravenous.
Yeah.
It's the worst week.
Yeah,
next week and the week after.
Yes.
That'll be much better.
She says from the 4th of March onwards.
Yeah.
Something like that, yeah?
It works like that, and then I'm still on the tablets now.
Yeah.
That's beside the point. Was there anything particular you wanted to know?
No, there's nothing really right now. I think I tried to contact that guy. There was an officer you told me about in Doncaster called Wallace.
That's right, yeah.
Yeah, I wrote to the address just, a little letter, but it came back. He doesn't live there anymore.
Have you tried the internet?
Well, actually, no, I haven't.
You see, you got, on the internet, you've got a what thing there, which is lost pals.
Yeah.
Finding lost pals and one thing or other.
Yeah.
I should certainly scurf the internet if I was you.
Do you know any ships that he was on? I know there's the commandos.
Was
there any ships in particular that he was on that I could,
Any ship?
Yeah.
Well, I don't know about his past.
No.
I only know that when he joined us.
Yes.
I think it was N2 or N3.
It wasn't N3. It might have been N2. Looks more likely.
Yeah, N2. Yeah, probably N2 because he wasn't N1.
No, it must have been N2.
N2. That.
Yeah.
Did you get any? Did you manage to phone Sid Kippen?
Oh, I spoke to Leda, and I sent you the. She sent me a picture of her wedding. And I sent it to you. Did you get that? Did you get the picture?
Yes.
Did you have?
Did you want it back?
No, I don't want it back. Well, I copied it.
Oh.
It's not. It looks as good as the original, the copy that I sent you. But it's got your girlfriend is in there. Bless her soul. Yes.
She's dead now.
Well, no, I know. This is why I say bless her soul. But
she died a few weeks ago.
That's where I thought you might, like to see the picture. But
by the way, that was only one of them.
That was how many were there, Ray? Well, I don't know how much you're at liberty to speak, given that your wife might be listening. I don't know how she feels about your previous misdemeanors.
I don't think she's interested.
Didn't she? Yeah, okay. If this was my wife, she'd be hitting me over the head with a rolling pin, you know. She holds me responsible for women I knew 10 years before I met her. You know. Listen, mate, I'll let you go, my friend. It's lovely talking to you.
Yeah.
I'll let you go. You have a rest.
I was saying round about next week.
Yeah.
Wednesday, we always go up to the my son and daughter-in-law and the grandchildren on Wednesday.
Yes.
So Tuesday, Thursday, Friday or Saturday onwards. I mean, if you want to know anything, give us a ring.
Yeah. I'll tell you what.
If you write it down, what you want to know,
yeah,
it will record my memory.
It certainly will. I mean, it'd be more a case, Ray, if I say something like, well, you know, you take me back to, tell me whatever you can think of about achnacarry, or tell me what you can think of about the voyage from Scotland to...
Funny enough, though, Paul.
Yeah.
That a lot of what I've said is in the book. I mean, in the Beachhead Commandos.
Sure.
Beach assault.
Yeah,
well, what I said is in there.
No, but
although this chappie, I forget what his name is.
Hampshire.
Hmm?
Hampshire, do you mean?
Hampshire, yeah.
Yeah.
He wrote back to me and he put me. He said that because I had given him so much information.
Yeah.
Well, I sent him a photograph of me at the time. And so I did so, but he said, I regret I can't put everything that you told me in the book, otherwise it wouldn't be room for anything.
Yes.
So anyhow.
Yeah. Wait, there's one day...
Have you seen the book?
I've got the book. I've got both of those books, you know, the Beachhead Assault book by David Lee and the Hampshire book. I've got both of those books.
In the Hampshire book, the photograph was in one of the pages of it.
I've got the photograph of you, and I dare say you haven't changed a bit.
Well, I'm still recognisable.
Do you still have the moustache and the little beard?
I was often mistaken for an Italian, because I would speak Italian, you see.
Oh, yeah?
And with a beard like that, it was very... very obvious, really, that I could have been Italian.
Well, you spoke Italian when you got there?
Yeah, before I got there.
No, but how?
I was on one of the troop ships that brought the first batch of Italians from Eritrea, 300, back to England.
Yes.
And we had to stand guard duty. And this particular Italian, the corporal, he come up and we got in conversation. Yes. And I told him English and he taught me Italian.
Oh, blimey.
And when I got back to England, I didn't know what happened to him. Yeah. But I used to live in a place called Seaton, which is near Midhurst. Yeah. And I went into Midhurst and I saw the two British soldiers with Italian between them going off down the road. So I made inquiries. They said, there's a prisoner of war camp there. They came in about a fortnight ago. Yeah. 300 of them. Yeah. So I thought, oh, that's him. So I went down to the camp and asked the sergeant if I could speak to one of the Italian prisoners, and I did. And I asked them if they knew Giovanni. They said yes, that Giovanni came up and we met again.
Okay, and did he make his way back to Italy eventually?
Yes.
Because I know a lot of them didn't. I remember we lived in Wales when I was a kid, and I remember the ice cream man round there, he was Italian. He was called Rabiotti, and I think he'd been a prisoner of war. You know, they chucked him out into the middle of Wales somewhere, and he never went back to Italy. He set up an ice cream business, and, you know...
Well, a lot of them didn't. A lot of them never went back.
I don't know why. I mean, I prefer the climate of Italy to... I said that to Leda, you know, like, you must have got a shock when you got to England after...
It's a different countryside altogether.
Well, it is. It's
in England, it's all green fields. Yes. And you get out there, it's all dusty and... yes. Fawney coloured.
Yeah, I know, but more of us go on holiday there than Italians come on holiday here, I would imagine.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? I mean, it's you know, I tell you what, it's so cold today, Ray, that I wish I was in bloody Italy, I tell you.
You do what?
It's so cold today, outside, I wish I was in bloody Italy.
Well, I find it cold because on the week after, all my fingers tingle. Yes. And my feet and body. Yeah. And so if I go outside, I get this very, very tingling feeling. Yeah. So I mustn't touch anything cold. I have to wrap up and when I'm in the car, I have to put a blanket around my knees and that to keep warm, otherwise I tingle all over, but it wears off.
Yeah.
It's wearing off now today. I find that if I pick up the phone 2 days ago, fingers would have tingled to touch anything. Not now, you see. So it wears off a bit after a week. Yeah,
I think you're a very courageous man, you know, but going through with all this.
What are you going to do with all this information?
Well, it's more, because it started off, I started doing like a family tree, you know, of all our family. And my dad was a bit of a blank, you know, a lot of it. But it turns out that his story is probably the most interesting, you know, in there. So it's just for our family. I mean, I tell this to my sister, and she passes it on to her kids, because there's one of her kids.
When I talk to my son, Mark, we're very, very close family. When I talked to him, and I was talking about Italy, he said, "Here, Dad, have I got a sister in Italy?" I said, "No, son, you don't worry about that."
What about a brother?
This is all brother.
Well, okay. You can be sure of that, can you, Ray?
Eh?
You can be sure of that.
Oh, yes.
Okay.
Oh, I knew a few of them. About 5 of them altogether.
Yes.
But I got on well with them because I speak Italian.
Yeah. I wondered about Sid, whether that was a bit of a shotgun wedding.
Well,
but I'm told it wasn't.
What, Sid?
Yeah.
What, on the wedding later?
Well, yeah, because it's just the way the photograph looked, the wedding photograph, with these big Italian guys standing behind sort of reasonably small Sid. Do you know what I mean? There's this huge big guy, must be, I don't know if he's one of her relations, brother or something, massive great looking guy, standing behind, and it just looks so much like the mafia. Yeah. You know? Like, okay, now you marry your sister, Sid, you know.
I'll ring her about next week, right?
Yeah.
Around about Thursday next week.
Yeah, that's it.
What's been plugged in?
Yeah, I will. Okay. I will. All right, look after yourself.
See you, mate.
All right, see you. Bye.